Good morning, everyone, to Magpie Circle Sunday Supplement. What are we feeling like this morning after another frustrating, shall we describe it, as trip to Crewe, Alexandria? It's not one of our happier hunting grounds, is it? Heartache, an injury time penalty, not for the first time. We go down 2-1. That means we've played, excuse me, 10 games, that kind of first barometer for when you make an assessment of how your team's doing at the start of the season. Well, we're bang middle of the table, 12th, won 4, drawn 2, lost 4. Looking at the table, we are 7 off the automatics, 9 off the bottom 2 if you're a bit of a pessimist. What do you make of it all so far? Certainly been trials and tribulations this summer. Martin Patterson doing his best, probably a bit more than tweaking the style. Where are you with all of that? Are you being entertained? Are you happy with where we are? Is it as high as you think we realistically can be after what many people dismissed as a very poor recruitment, and one which ultimately saw Roberto Gagliardi, the director of football, leave after just 4 months in charge? Crewe, Gresty Road, don't you just love going there? What was it like, the journey for everyone? I got stuck in traffic, probably like most people. I always preach for people to travel by train, let the train take the strain. I drove, which was clearly a mistake. Got stuck like many of you did, something like a 3 or a 4 mile tailback between Uttoxeter and Stoke. Not a big pile up. Some guys doing some grass cutting in the central reservation somewhere just outside Blythe Bridge. Great, wasn't it? Managed to get there just before kickoff. I know the buses were there literally minutes before as well. And of course, then we have to endure that. Thought we played well second half, really well. Very unlucky to go down. But I guess the contentious points, concede the concession of the first goal. Both goals came as a result of a ball bouncing in the 6-yard box from a set piece delivery. One a corner, one a long throw. What are your thoughts on that? Have we learned enough? Are we savvy enough yet defensively, having done so well in the game? And I guess a lot hinged on the chance. We had several, but the chance that was missed by Alassane Jatta, 6 yards out, didn't quite connect with the ball cleanly in front of goal, hit the post, came back out. So what were your thoughts all in all? For me, just to give you I always try and be honest with these things. I've looked back. I thought it was a penalty. I thought there was an arm gone across and a pulling of the shirt. Not to say there weren't plenty of others. Perhaps just looked a little bit more transparent. Perhaps we should send Matty down to Wimbledon for a week. They're the masters of the arts of pulling the shirt on the blind side of the referee, aren't they? Anyway, all that and more on today's show, brought to you in association by official partners, JH Accountants, and the big shed at the Trent Navigation. You will also see I've gone retro today. Radi Avramovic top that he used to wear. Well, it's not actually a Radi Avramovic top, it's a retro one, and you can see behind me kits from that glorious 79 to 83 period. Goalkeeper shirt, blue third kit, black and white, and if I move my head, you can see a yellow second kit. And on the far side, you're looking at a training top that used to be worn by, that is an original, that one, Jimmy Cyril, Howard Wilkinson, and the like. Radi Avramovic tickets, October the 24th. I'm tired of saying it, but make sure you get yours. Limited numbers available. I want it full to the rafters for Radi's first visit back. You all know where the link is to buy your tickets. Friday night, October the 24th, an evening with Radi and other guests from that 80s era team. Radi will then be the guest of honour at Notts' home game against Cambridge United the following day on the 25th. Right. Let's dive onto the message boards. I was getting a bit worried at first because there was no messages at all till John Parnham chimed in. And I think there were a few technical gremlins with the match day vlog yesterday. Normally we get well over 1,000. We got 62 so far. Now, even allowing for it might have been a very poor blog. That's a pretty alarming decline. So I think we've had some, we've been hacked, probably by some Crewe fans or something. But anyway, if you want to take another look back, it is on the website, but I think people have been telling me they had problems finding it. All right, on the boards, John Parnham first today. Crewe. I thought it was more unfortunate that we didn't win yesterday. It wasn't for a want of effort. We were unlucky, although their first goal was avoidable. But from then on, we played with pace and ambition. Lots of credit for the performance. Credit to Crewe for their solid defence. Carl Brandon, morning. Let's not get disheartened about the result yesterday. We were by far the better team, and the signs are there that things are looking up, onwards and upwards. Paul Mundell, given the recruitment weak links, Pato is doing okay. Ian Cooksey, great performance second half, but ultimately undone by two individual mistakes. John Parnham agrees with Carl, by the way, in terms of don't get too disheartened by one result. 10:02, Paul's clock must be running on daylight saving time. I'm not great at getting up in the morning, Carl. I have to do a bit of research for this show. You'll never know. I had to get me coffee. All right, so it took longer for the kettle to boil. Matt Arnold, plenty of messages coming in. Thank you, guys and girls. Results in the first 10 games haven't been good enough, but little shoots of positivity with the last two performances. Willing to give Pato another 5 to 10 games. However, improvements in results are needed. David Dawes, 2 mistakes, the rest was good. Derek Flowers, show regular. I think we'll finish about where we are now. We're just not consistent enough. Carl Brandon, one thing's for sure, it's more entertaining to watch than last season. Possession with purpose is far better than just kicking it around at the back. Ian Cooksey, the penalty came about at the end of a period of play where Jacob Beddoes started it off by messing around at the back rather than clearing it. Lippy Jane, hello Lippy. We sailed through the A50, no problem. You got lucky, Lippy. Enjoyed the game. Thought their press box was funny. Stuck high up on the last row. Stell will have vertigo. We'll be hearing from Stell tomorrow, the professional's view. Don't know if he took his binoculars with him, Lippy Jane, but normally in those press boxes, you know, not all of them, they have little television monitors. So you can see the clips being played, and normally that tends to be 4 or 5 seconds on delay. Where I sit, as you know, Lippy, I sit quite close to you. They moved the press box to me. That was good of them, wasn't it? 18 months ago. So now I'm literally next to the press box, so you can have a little sneaky peek at these little monitors, just to sort of like corroborate what your eyes did or didn't see at the time. Karen Knight, hello, Karen. Matt Arnold, the YouTube algorithm is broken at the moment. Multiple content creators saying the same. Well, there we have. You see, that's what I love about the flock. If you need anything, you know, from laying a floor with Greza Maxwell to understanding YouTube algorithms, there is a person in the Magpie Circle flock that knows something about it. So if you ever need anything doing, just stick a message on one of our boards doing one of our shows, and there will be an expert among the flock. Andy Easom, did Roos trip over his own feet yesterday? I want to just dissect that because I've watched that about 20 times on the Sky highlights video last night. So I want to get thoughts, and I want to try and look at it as objectively as we can, because there have been a lot of theories put forward as to what actually happened. Andy Adcock, morning from Cyprus. It's afternoon here. Inconsistency we display means that my pre-season prediction of 10th position hasn't changed. Greza, yeah, I knew Greza would be coming in. I don't think Pato has done too much wrong. However, you can't teach a mistake out of a player. Still underwhelmed with our keeper. Right. So let's and this is always done fairly and objectively and in a balanced way. And I'll just read actually Colin Scott, Kedwin's dad. South Shields are flying. Mind you, with that budget they've got at South Shields, I'll be very surprised if they don't get promotion this year. Here's me been marvelling at Stell's ability to recount the action, and now you've given away his secret. Shafitab, I disagree with Greza. I thought his tactics yesterday were baffling. Crossing it to a lone striker up against a team that we all know heads the ball away for fun every season was like Pato had never seen Crewe play. Yeah, I also want to talk about from a recruitment perspective. We often play teams. Richard Stanton made this point to me yesterday. We play teams that often have one outstanding centre half, normally over 30, normally got a few promotions on their CV, and they kind of control and are dangerous in both boxes. So, Demetriou yesterday, and for me, I'm going to throw one out there. He plays golf where I'm a member at Coxmoor, so he still lives locally. Aidan Flint got promotions under his belt with Mansfield and Bristol City before that. He's gone to Walsall. I think Walsall have done unbelievably well so far to be top. But I just think sometimes, when our talking of algorithms and data recruitment, we don't seem to sign too many players for their aerial ability. And I think it is critical at League Two level, even if you want to play the game on the ground all the time, as we're finding out recently. Balls into boxes. How many times have balls come into our box this season and bounced in the 6-yard box? Now that's a combination of the goalkeeper should be getting it, defenders should be heading the first ball. Brian Clough always used to say, first ball, first contact. And I'm not sure we've ever, as a result of that we've never seemed to have prioritized first contact for me in boxes. The number of times when we attack, the ball goes into the box, we don't win the first ball. And when we defend, we don't win the first ball. Remember Newport, first game of the season, bouncing from a long throw. But anyway, we can talk about those a little bit later on. I want to talk about the first goal. So I've watched it a few times. I don't know, and I'm guessing quite a few of us would have had a study and a watch. And so the corner comes in, and Ruse is kind of positioned on his goal line, and from the middle of the goal, and he tries to move towards the apex of the 6-yard box where for the angle of the ball being delivered. And as he tries to move forward, it's clearly a prearranged routine. One of the Crewe players blocks him and kind of tries to push him, and it all looks a little bit soft, if I'm honest with you, and it pushes Pato off balance. Whether there's enough contact for a foul is very debatable. And he kind of stumbles and goes to the ground, which means then he can't jump up for the ball. But football is a contact sport. Now whether that is Keller should be stronger, yeah, whether not should have blockers on the Crewe blocker and all of them sorts of things. I'll leave that to the experts and the professionals. But a lot goes on in a 6-yard box. From a long throw, or in this case, a corner. It does. So you've got to be equally as combative and strong. And I thought clearly you have to look at your keeper for not being able to be in a position to make the punch. Demetriou comes in far post, is largely unchallenged. And I think there was a corner a bit before that, wasn't there, where someone's come around the back post, far post corner, volleyed it back across. So, for me, that is it remains an Achilles heel. This is not something that's just crept into our game now. This has been an Achilles heel for me ever since we got back in the Football League, if I'm honest with you. And while you might argue we're making progress with it, the reality is that other clubs, I think, see it as a weakness in our game and therefore target it. Right, so your thoughts on that goal? Let's just get them out the way now while I read some more messages. Ian Cooksey, Aidan Flint scored yesterday. Don't see many of our centre halves scoring. Andy Eason, losing Cerula and Macari towards the death left us short at the back. Al Joffrey and Cotter aren't the best replacements. Angus MacDonald, wherever he may be, would have been a better height-wise. Ian Cooksey, we have historically had a centre-back pairing where if one missed the ball, the other one didn't. I think that's a very valid point, Ian. Shafitab, for me, the goalie has an advantage over defenders anyway, has got to be stronger in the box. Ian Cooksey, the keeper is 6'5" and around 14 stone. Why is he being pushed around? And again, I think these are all valid points. I think a lot of this goes back to our recruitment, doesn't it? A lot of this goes back to our recruitment. Look, Kell has a big physical stature. I think, up until, that incident, which led to the goal in the opening 10 minutes of Saturday, I think he's been pretty steady. I know people talk a lot about him punching rather than catching. He's 33 years old, and throughout his career, he's fundamentally followed that model of punching a ball. And it's you speak to anybody that's watched any of his previous clubs, that is what he has done. So for me, you have to look long and hard at the recruitment policy of the club, because the club must have knew this was a keeper that likes to punch. There's nothing wrong with that. But often in the British game, EFL2, you kind of want more of a catcher rather than a puncher. And, so to an extent, you'd have to say that is on the recruitment, the recruitment policy of the club. Nothing to do with Martin Patterson. And again, it also gets back to, with Alex Bass, you had fundamentally a catcher of a ball. So we've decided, technical board, recruitment guru, whatever you want to call it, we've made a policy decision to recruit a goalkeeper that is a different kind of keeper to the previous one that we had. If you're asking me, what do I think of it all? Wayne Wilkins, no issue on the first goal. There should be someone as first man at the front post. Although he can get done over the top, we miss Platt from crosses. Clearly, Matty Platt is a miss and long throws. I do think McDonald has done well. I'm not fundamentally sure, Wayne, that we still have enough height in this team to be as good as we need to be for automatic promotion. When you look at the models of other clubs where fullbacks are 6'3", I'm still not sure we're fundamentally a powerful, big enough team at the back. Andy Adcock, I've seen the first goal, and at the least the keeper was obstructed / fouled. Ian Cooksey, as a caveat to my previous comment, it doesn't matter who the keeper is, not just Kell in the way that we defend. Ian Baggett, morning Ian, will we use Tuesday's game to see if some of the fringe squad are ready for the first? For the first team, Greza Maxwell, we were spoilt with Bass. All the more reason, Greza, why you don't sell him. All the more reason why you do not sell him. And it is far too simplistic to say, well, if the brothers have just wiped off 10.75 million, why didn't they wipe off 10.45 million and not sell Bass? Now, I do the decisions in those finances will have been taken on sound financial advice rather than any emotional decision making. But like some people have mentioned it, I do share some sentiment with, if you're going to write off some huge sums like that. Personally, I think you can be a bit more speculatory and loosen the purse strings a bit with your playing budget. And obviously, McGoldrick comes into play here as well. And the whole debate about, do we have as good a group of players this season as we had last? Shafita, I know it's not professional level, but I always played in goal Sunday league, my Sunday team. And I knew that I could get my elbows out and get my knees up, and I'd never give a foul away because we are protected. Simon Wild Goose, first goal, a clever push, possibly a foul, but very soft. Ultimately, no one picked up the scorer who had a free header. Shafita, you're right, Simon. All irrelevant. The goalkeeper. If we just picked up the scorer anyway, without doing all this to death, my point there is you've got to win the first contact. First contact has to be. I think that we prioritise possession. We prioritise technical ability. We seldom publish aerial duels and aerial stats, and this, or our content creators that follow the club don't, and we don't tend to do very well in those. And it's almost like we brush those under the carpet. You've got to do the dirty side of the game first. Dirty side of the game first to be able to play football. And I think we are exposed even now from set piece delivery into the box. And it's costing us points, cost us at Newport, didn't it? It's cost us yesterday, whichever way you want to dress it up. But hey ho, let's see how we get on. Cole Brandon, we better get used to Kel being between the sticks. He's on a 3-year deal. Kirisuit, sorry I'm late. I don't know what I've missed. Jatta misses too many close range shots, and he did the same last season. Still think we need a keeper regardless. Okay, so Crewe. Let's also, it was a contentious incident. One or two people have started to allude to it. What did we make of the penalty? Clearly, we're all fed up. Had anyone left early? Which I did see some people. I was with Chloe and her granddad. I did see some people leave before Crewe's goal. That ain't half tempting fate, given what happens at Crewe every year. My view was, and I think Martin mentioned this in his after-match press conference with Adam Hassel, that Notts kind of needlessly conceded the long throw. We didn't necessarily game management, game IQ, call it what you will. Then when the balls come in, for me, I thought it was a penalty. At the time, it was difficult to tell. When I've watched it back on the TV, there does appear to be an outstretched arm by Matty Dennis, and there seems to be kind of clear contact with the shirt. The shirt seems to have been stretched out quite a bit, and I can see why the ref has given the penalty. So if I'm honest, I don't think we can really have too many complaints about the awarding of the decision. Now, I'm probably going to disagree with a few of the flock here. I thought that referee was good yesterday. Now, I know some people have said terrible, and I think it's very easy to blame the ref all the time. As I mentioned in the vlog, that obviously with the algorithmic problems meant hardly anyone's watched it. Paul Tierney, the ref, is a Premier League referee. Not quite a full set of Premier League fixtures yesterday, and so Paul Tierney was allocated to the Crewe game, which to an extent, given the history of the match and what's happened previously when ref injured, linesman wouldn't take the game on and all the rest of it, is probably not a bad shout. And I thought he did all right, if I'm being really honest with you. If you remember the first minute, they side down, I forget who it was, one of our players. First minute, yellow card. I think I think as Premier League referees do, they try to play advantage, with these 50-50 tussles and all the rest of it. And I'm sure you could say that there will be other instances in the game where players' shirts were pulled and all the rest of it. I thought he was decent. I don't think we can blame the referee at all yesterday. I think we weren't cute enough defending that 94th minute long throw. And I think we wasted a series of good chances. Alessandro clearly probably the most glaring miss. But I think that was on us. And again, listening to Martin, I thought he was very fair, and I hesitate to use the word honest because everyone picks up on it now. But I thought he was very fair and very honest in his assessment. Right. I'm going. You mention a referee and a penalty, and it's guaranteed to light up the message board, which I'm pleased about. So I'm going to have a slurp of coffee, and then I'm going to start reading out plenty more, which I'm pleased about because this is a show of opinions. One sec. Right. Greza Maxwell, let's start with Greza. Even if in the air our players can't get the first ball, it should be coached when the opposition player can't. Hashtag dark arts. Absolutely. Wimbledon are the masters. I thought Gillingham were pretty good at it as well. To be honest, it's something that you very rarely have. A naive team gets promotion. You very rarely get a naive team, a naive, nice team that gets promotion. Very, very rare. Ian Cooksey, personally, I thought Jatta looked disinterested yesterday, hardly got involved. Don't think his body language was great yesterday, but he is one of those players, Ian, and you judge. For me, you judge Alessandro on his goals and very little else. I know it's all about doing other work and all the rest of it. We're going to have this conversation with Stell tomorrow. I promise you, if Stell's hardly kicked a ball for 89 minutes and scores in the 90th, he will tell you he did his job. Goal scorers are quite a selfish breed in many respects. To be continued with Stell tomorrow. Ian Cooksey, as one small consolation, it was nice to see Sunderland win yesterday. Look, you're the same generation to me. Even for me, Ian, it's a bit of a stretch these days when we're labouring around in the fourth tier. And the highlight of our day is our rivals over the Trent, who are competing 3 divisions higher, get beat. I know. I just really wish we could just get up the division a bit more. Gary Scott, sorry, but definitely a penalty, I'm afraid. PJ Defiance, morning all. Sorry I'm late. Onwards and upwards, that's all I can say. Lippy Jane, prior to the goal, there was an Abbott-style attack, player totally on his own, running round from the side. Wayne Wilkins, we've all focused on their goals and incidents. We've had 2 cleared off the line, hit the post, made the keeper make a few saves. So frustrating to allow sloppy goals. Totally agree, Wayne. And in the blog that no one has seen, thanks to the algorithms, I made the point. I thought first half was a bit, 50-50 in and out-ish. It was masked over by us because we scored the goal in the 44th minute. I don't think too many people were happy after 43 minutes. Second half, I thought we played really, really well. Not only did we have the ball, as you've just said, we created many good chances, worked the keeper, balls cleared off the line. The reality is you need to score one of them. You need to, when you, particularly as the away team, when you have a passage of play, and for us it was most of the second half, and you're creating chances, and on top, you have to convert something. You have to convert something whilst the other team gets a head of steam up, whatever it is, in the closing minutes. And of course, they do at the first attempt what we've not been able to do for the previous 40 minutes. It happens so many times in professional football. Andy Adcock, I've just freeze framed the penalty incident, and Dennis is clearly pulling him back, not subtle. That would kind of be my summation, Andy, as well. That, look, it is not a foul to pull an opposition player's shirt if the ref don't see it. It's like speeding, isn't it? We've all gone more than 30 miles an hour in our lives. Yeah. Detection rate. Yeah. Detection rate. Crewe going to Wimbledon for a masterclass. Gazzalee, Arnold are away at Newstead, 10:30. Up the Arna. I'm guessing that's one of the age group teams, Gaza. Now they have a lot of games up at Eagle Valley. I think Magpie United are without a game. Well, they are without a game today. Ian Cooksey, the ref tried to let the game flow, but there was a lot going on off the ball. Jody was taken out on at least 4 occasions. Yeah, I thought second half, and one of the reasons I thought we looked good second half, Martin again mentioned this in his post-game press conference, we got Jody on the ball, didn't we? We got Jody in exactly the right positions that he needs to be to whip the ball into the box. Thought he had their right back on toast second half. Lots of balls in. I thought he did well. He got clattered a few times. I guess you would unfortunately expect that. We how many times do we, people of our generation talk about, I wish we had a Paul Harding. Well, Paul wasn't in the team for his creative ability, was he? So let's be honest. It's part of the game, right? It's part of the game, and everybody needs an enforcer, or 2 or 3, if you're other teams that have got promotion more recently. PJ Defiance. When I hear the name Paul Tierney, I always think of the player we had on loan by the same name. Was that Paul Tierney or was that Francis Tierney? Cultured midfielder. I may be getting confused there. I'm sure the flock will dive in. NCFC World. Jatta needs to run to the ball more and press harder. He seems to want the ball given to him rather than getting him himself. He lacks that Langstaff edge. I often think Jatta, NCFC World, is at his best, not when he's got his back to goal, but when he's running that channel between centre half and fullback and bearing down on goal. I think when he's got his back to goal, I don't think that's his strength. He's a mobile, big lad. And I think when he's running that channel, tearing down, then I think he scares opposition. He scares the opposition. And he ain't a bad finisher in those situations. He ain't a bad finisher. Wayne Wilkins, ref had a couple of moments, which is to be expected, but easily the most balanced we've had in a long time, Paul. So me and a member of the flock agreeing on a referee. That's very, very rare. Ian Cooksey, his name was Francis Tierney, signed from Crewe. Yeah, I thought he had Crewe connection. Cultured player, if I remember. Cultured player. Was Connor Grant injured? Asks Andy Eason. You know what? I'm not sure. I didn't really have a chance to sort of get me bearings very much before the game, as I was running around from round the station into the ground to make sure I got in. Cole Brandon. I didn't go to the game due to work, but saw it on a dodgy stick supplied by Richard Stanton. Can't say I had any complaints about the ref from the TV screen. I'm just joking. I added the bit in about dodgy stick from Richard Stanton. Wayne Wilkins. I see Ruse and Jatta are the scapegoats now. It becomes inevitable, Wayne, doesn't it? That certain players will always be held, let's say, more accountable by others. Look, I personally don't think Keller in the last few games has done anything wrong, but I think his tendency to punch rather than catch, which, as I said to you at the start of the program, the club must have known about, and for whatever reason, um, I think kind of polarizes views on him. Kirisut thought we played very well, was consistent up until last week. Luca to start for me. His movement and touches were brilliant. Dennis in for Jatta and Cotter to stay at home. Stephen Belshaw. I cannot believe Jatta missed that absolute sitter. As Stel will tell you, strikers have missed far easier chances than that, including Stel. Unfortunately, it's made us pay, hasn't it, with that penalty? It's really made us pay. Cole Brandon, he missed quite a few last season too, but was putting a few away. Look, 20 goals, first season, League Two. You cannot knock the guy if you look at his overall contribution for me. Langstaff obviously hit the 20 mark. I suppose, to be fair, depending how you count the games, so did David McGoldrick. We sold him, unfortunately, or allowed him to go. I think if you get 20 goals as a striker in any, certainly in any division in the EFL, you're doing your job. And you've got a good one. Carl Brandon, it's a lot more noticeable now. He's only on one goal. Look, he was suspended, and that was his fault, obviously. But he did miss a big chunk at the start of the season. Wayne Wilkins, nobody moaned at Macca missing countless chances because he scored a load at the same time. Ian Cooksey, a keeper with 2 clean sheets in 10 and a centre forward with 1 goal in 4.5 games, will always attract criticism. Not my scapegoats, but not hitting their targets either. Wayne says they're easy targets when there's others to critique more in those incidents or stats too. I mean, certainly, personally, I would hold Keller fairly directly accountable for the first goal, Wayne. Second goal, they should never have been given an opportunity for a long throw in those dying seconds and minutes. Very poor game management and decision making by people other than Matty Dennis allowed Crewe to have that free go into the box. Carl Brandon, anyone got contacts for this Richard Stanton? Could do with another stick. I would point out that Richard Stanton does not supply dodgy sticks to anyone. Let's just make that clear. Kirisut Ruse reminds me of Steve Mildenhall. That's a name from the past. Royston, morning. Poor Pato just has to get on with what he's got. And talking in terms of the recruitment, Derek Flowers, even the top strikers miss easy chances. Watch any Premiership game. NCFC World, what a player Palmer is, and the relentlessness of Robbo in midfield is a nice balance. Ian Cooksey, the provocation that Robbo received was ridiculous. He did well to keep his cool. He did do well. I think I've had this conversation before, Ian. I speak to him a few times in the gym, and he's a very mild-mannered, quiet lad. Clearly, he crosses the touchline, and he's a strong boy. I can guarantee you, Crewe would have known that, and I guarantee you, Crewe would have been told to wind him up. Wind him up, get in his face. These are all, accepted parts and parcels of professional football. And I think I remember the incident to which you were alluding. And that guy's doing everything they can. And, Robbo's done well there to keep his cool, not bite. And I think, to be fair to the referee, I think the referee handled it pretty well as well. Knots and bolts podcast. Jatta was on the post for Crewe first goal. Looked like he didn't jump for the ball. PJ defines, I think Jatta is missing McGoldrick's influence and advice. Hey, not just Alessandro, PJ. Hey, I reckon there's 10 other players out on the pitch. And when McGoldrick's on the bench, 6 subs, 7 subs, all missing his experience. Greza Maxwell, the only shirt I'm missing from your display is the striped one, says Greza. Might harass Malcolm Salt to see if he can sort me out with one. Yeah, I've got both. I don't know. I'm going the wrong way. That's it. The stripe one there. Yeah. So that's the one with the collar. I've also got the one without the collar. They're very good. Jay Dalton put them together with Richard Anscombe. And actually, I think all of these shirts behind me, I think they're really good quality. I have to say, as replicas, if you can get one, I think they've all sold out now. But if you can get one second hand or something, I think Malcolm Salt's got 1 or 2 floating around. If you can get them, honestly, they are a really good buy. They're a really good buy. Just get an extra large in some of these. This XL is a tad tight on me, and clearly an XL shouldn't be tight on me. All right. Any news on Angus MacDonald, PJ Defi? No, it's gone very quiet. I really don't know. I'll see what I can find out ahead of the show on Monday. No news, I suspect, means we're not taking him on. But, you know, maybe it's cost us a tracksuit and that's it. Cole Brandon, their player should have been sent off for kicking Robbo. No different to what Beckham did for England against the Argies, or Jatta losing his cool against Wimbledon. Derek Flowers saying that Greza has offloaded his shirts to Malcolm Salt. Malcolm will be on Greza's table. So some of these shirts, the retro ones, I'm going to be doing a raffle. I'll reveal the name of the charity. It's someone close to the hearts of all Notts County fans, but we'll give some more details out of that nearer the time. But some of those are going to be raffled on the night. Right. What else have we got? Okay, we didn't necessarily really debate, if you like, 10 games in. We are where we are, mid-table. Now, my gut feel at this moment in time is we're probably about at our level at this moment in time. I think we are a mid-table League Two side, if I'm honest with you. I think no matter how much we say, oh, Gillingham were lucky to beat us and those sorts of things, I think Gillingham are better than us and are more capable of lasting a season. From what I saw of Salford, wouldn't be quite so sure they'd last the 46. I thought they were a better team than us. And I thought Bromley were not sure Bromley will last the pace, but I think they're marginally better than us at the minute, which says all you need to know about our recruitment. I can't believe MK Dons will not get their act together. I think Chesterfield will be there or thereabouts. Personally, as it stands, when I reel off teams like that, I think we're a notch below them. I think we're a notch below them at the minute. I think for us to have any chance of a go at it this season, I think we've got to have a complete turnaround in approach in January transfer window. We all know there are holes in this group of players, and I think you need to sign experienced, proven quality in a January transfer window for me. What do we all think? Do you think we've been unlucky so far? Now, the caveat to that, I don't think at this moment in time Martin Patterson can do too much more with the group of players that he has. Said it before, I know the brothers have preached a gospel of possession-based football. Martin Patterson is poles apart from the methodology and the approach of Stuart Maynard, poles apart from, if you like, a methodology and approach of Luke Williams, and even more poles apart of Ian Birchnell. And they're the three previous head coaches that the brothers appointed. Martin, for me, is a totally different breed. He's the pluses are that he's got 350, 400 appearances as a player, spent a lifetime playing professional football, a lifetime. And he's clearly trying to bring in a lot of things that a lot of us as fans would have said previously have been a challenge to us. I think he's having to do it with with a squad of players that has been shorn of key quality players that you need to mount a promotion push. You know, Bass in goal, McGoldrick. You know, if you take those two out, it significantly weakens. And I think some of the, Matt Dennis has obviously started really, really well, and there are other players who are decent. I'm not sure we've got the balance right with the number, and I disagree with Mark Stell. I'm the amateur. Stell's the pro. Stell does not particularly think it is an issue that we have such a high concentration of loans. Yeah, and I think also 11 signings, and Martin is playing or not playing a very large percentage of those 11 signings week in and week out. And players who previously have not had a look in or any sort of regular run. So I'm thinking Rod McDonald, I'm thinking of Nick Cerula, I'm thinking of Kellen Gordon. They are now playing more games under Martin than they did since they've arrived. So I think there's been a huge sea change in the approach. So I'm not at this moment massively optimistic about automatics. And for me, playoffs is second. Is playoffs is a consolation prize. With us as the size of our club, fan base, and everything else, you cannot realistically not be targeting playoffs. You can't. You absolutely can't. It's a total defeatism if you're saying, "Oh well, we've progressed this year, we've progressed that year. All I want is to see a team that's still in it." It's just total defeatism. Total defeatism. So look, I'm one of those, like many of you, that goes to every game or 99% of games, and I'll be there if we lose the next 10. I'm concerned a little bit. We've lost momentum. I'm concerned a little bit. But one thing Martin has done is addressed home form, and we got 10 out of 12. So people coming down Meadow Lane are seeing us win. And that's important. That's important. Let's get the message boards, because we've got a load of them, which is good. Saves me coming up with everything. Michael Fletcher. Both Cotter and Dennis made avoidable mistakes leading up to the penalty. PJ Defiance, I agree, Paul. Mid-table due to poor recruitment. Just hope the brothers will realise this by the end of the summer. Ian Cooksey, I still think Bristol Rovers will win this league. Yeah, Darryl Clark's got them on a bit of a march at the minute. Cole Brandon, MK Dons are just the clowns of the league, and I can't think of a single fan up and down the country who isn't happy about it either. Awful club. Kirisut, I think we have the core of a good team, and most of them was here already. Just need to build on that. Andy Eason, will we take on another head of recruitment, or are we going to see how things go without? Well, as I said, you see, I do think that January is a pivotal, even now, January is a pivotal point of our season, and how we're going to address it. Is the head coach going to be allowed a lot more latitude with signing players? Does the technical board, i.e. the brothers, without a director of football, recruit? Do we get a new director of football in? Really don't know, and I think that's quite interesting as to what approach the brothers are going to do. I'm sure some of our flock that will be going to the fans forum. That's a question that at least one of you can ask. Ian Cooksey. Ultimately, it will all come down to consistency. Some clubs have it, some don't. Stephen Belshaw. To be honest, I'm surprised we are this good. I thought we were in for a relegation battle pre-season, but I do think we are slowly improving. Greza Maxwell. Robbo's contract, Scott Robertson, expires in 7 months. We shouldn't take up the option to extend it. Interesting point of view. Ian Cooksey, if you can get him and keep him fit, I would. But any more injuries, then it will be time to let him go. Derek Flowers, I'm surprised we've not appointed Richard Montague yet. Carl Brandon, I think a lot will depend on the next 7 months and Scott's availability in those months. If he goes through it unscathed, I think we would be mad to let him go. Greza, he struggled to play more than 20 games in any one season. However, he's had an operation this year to hopefully sort out this injury jinx. Ian Cooksey, absolutely. There's a player there if he can stay fit. This was something that we discussed with Mark Stallard last Monday. The demands placed on professional footballers now are huge in terms of fitness levels. Gone are the days when certain players could train half a day a week. Paul Barnes at Notts many moons ago. Paul McGrath was one, wasn't he, with his knees, that famously didn't train but would turn up on a match day and be a Rolls Royce of a player. The athleticism and physical demands placed on players now mean you have to be hard at it on training. So those days are gone. And different people's bodies have different tolerance levels. For me, Scott's ability has never been in doubt from the moment that we signed him. But I guess we were in a position to be able to sign him, and other clubs higher up the pyramid didn't, were because they were kind of, right, how many games are we going to get here? We need to balance out the quality compared to the number of minutes that we think we might be able to get. And that's difficult for players, isn't it, to sort of come to terms with that, because those players, I promise you, train absolutely as hard as everybody else in that group of players, possibly more so because they know there's a challenge for them. But it's your body, isn't it? And you do everything you can. Sometimes your body lets you down. So it's a very difficult one. But look, what you want. Scott's undoubtedly made a difference, certainly for me anyway, in these last 2 starts. I know he's enjoyed being involved in the cut and thrust of it all. Let's do everything possible, keep him fit, get him out on the pitch. And we've got, in that case, then, a really good player, who in reality is a cut above a League Two, and as such, let him help us get promotion. But that's where it is. Any other thoughts, views that we need to discuss? We will, of course, be back on Monday evening with Mark Stallard. Mark up in the gods at Crewe. Don't know what, I've not spoke to him yet. Don't know what time he managed to get there or not. Hopefully, like Lippy Jane, he somehow miraculously avoided the queues on the A50. Oh, blimey. Derek Flowers is obviously on a commission from Dave McVeigh's book, Diary of a Nobody. It's a great read, Derek. It's a great read. Carl Brandon, does anybody think we will actually see Jarvis this year other than the Tin Pot Trophy? Yes, don't forget, we've got a game Tuesday, haven't we? Barnsley. Will David McGoldrick be A, in the Barnsley starting 11, B, in the dugout, or C, watching from the stands? He'll be there. Be interested to see whether he's got a Barnsley shirt on or whether he's in the stands. Andy Easom, could the next away trip to Swindon be rearranged because of 3 international call-ups, I wonder? Yeah, I've taken a look at that, Andy. So last time, no games in League Two were postponed, which is quite surprising. I guess our challenge was we had two out last time, Jody Jones and Kuyar. Jatta wasn't picked. Now, if Jody Jones is picked again, very likely. If Kuyar is picked again, very likely. And if Alassania is recalled, then that game will be off, as I understand it. However, who can second guess the Gambian selectors? I'm not sure if they've already even blown the chance of qualifying. So whether that means they're not so bothered, I don't know. I need to look at it. I'm sure before Monday night, people will have assessed who Gambia are playing, whether they can qualify or not, and how that will affect their policy of calling up players. Ian Cooksey, do you set his fitness regime in the gym, Paul? And does he use you as his motivation? Oh dear, crikey! I can't do his warm up. Don't worry about it. I look at his warm up, think, oh blimey, that'll kill me off. David McGoldrick will start and score, says Cole Brandram, but he won't celebrate. Kira Suit, I think if I understand it, it's a club choice as well. It's an agreement. It's an agreement. The club cannot withhold. The club cannot withhold a player joining a country if they are called up. Sometimes they can do deals to say if you rest him for this one or whatever, you can have him for the next one and those sorts of things. But if a country want a player, the club can't withhold him, and also if they give it that he's injured, then the player is ruled out of playing for that club game as well. Because obviously what used to happen was the club would turn around and say, no, he's injured. And then miraculously, 8 days later, he's fit to play for the club on the same day he should have been playing for the country. Such a shame about Jarvis, all that money spent on him too, says PJ Defiance. I do expect we will see him playing on Tuesday, and I think I'm right saying it's an early start, isn't it? I think it's an early start, 7 o'clock. Just remember that one. But we're coming up to the hour. Thank you, one and all. Best part of 200 of you on the show so far today, which is very good. There probably only 13 other people watch this because of the algorithmic issues that are being experienced. So pass the word on. I look forward to seeing you all with Mark Stallard tomorrow evening. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Watch the Ryder Cup. I was watching that yesterday. It was very good. And we are in a pretty impressive position as it stands. Right, I think that will wrap it up. Thank you, one and all. See you Monday evening. Don't forget, I've got all the 80s nostalgia here. I don't think Lippy Jane's got her ticket yet. You need to get it sorted. One or two others haven't. Name and shame me if you don't get them very soon. An 80s nostalgia night with Radi Avramovic and other of his teammates. The Big Shed at the Trent Navigation, Friday, October the 24th. We're starting early, 6 o'clock. Raddy's on at 7. We'll be done by 9, 9:30, so you can get home, tucked up in bed, and ready for the visit of Cambridge United the following day to Meadow Lane. Lippy Jane's got a ticket. Well done, Lippy. Looking forward to seeing you there. See you all Monday evening. And I haven't specifically got them with me, but Kim Wolster's funeral is later this week. I think most of you have seen all the details. I will be refreshing everyone's memory with them tomorrow evening. The navigation are doing a beam back. There you go. That's good of them, isn't it? They're beaming back live the service into the navigation. Spaces are clearly going to be very limited at Wilford Hill for that funeral. And the message from the family is to wear your Notts County shirt. Okay, so normally at a funeral, I only ever wear, sadly, I go to an awful lot these days. I only ever wear a black tie, albeit a Notts County tie. But I shall be wearing a Notts County shirt for Kim. Have a good day, everybody. Look forward to seeing you all tomorrow on Monday. Cheers for now. Bye-bye.